Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
This world is changing more and more every day, and we've decided to change right along with it. My name is Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the president of Trajectory TV Network. At Trajectory, our vision is to provide a creative platform for top content creators and storytellers from around the globe. We're also dedicated to providing this world with content that is healing, educational, empowering, exciting, and above all else, entertaining and transparent. So right now, I invite all of you who believe yourselves to be global game changers to use the link found here and simply take a chance. Schedule a virtual chat where you'll have the opportunity to share your vision for your very own global television show with me, the network president. So use that link, and together, let's begin changing and healing this world. Years of experience in front of the camera or zero experience, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is your desire to share great content through television and a willingness to share it with passion and with purpose. You might ask, how do I know if I've fallen in love with my purpose and my purpose has fallen in love with me? It's easy when you've lost your voice because you just can't stop talking about it. I'll see you soon.
Hello. Happy weekend to you. I know. Dr. Lauren, what are you doing here? It's not Monday through Friday. No, it isn't. But I'm here when Saturday becomes an extra special Saturday. And that's now. Welcome, everyone, one and all, to another wonderful, exciting, informative, and empowering 90-minute special brought to you by the E360 Television Network and all of us here at the Trajectory TV family as well. So happy to bring you Oneness Wisdom, the gateway to the golden age, something that I know you're going to appreciate. We've got a great lineup for you, and they've been working and waiting for you. So without further ado, I want to commission you, I want to challenge you to bless someone today in the manner that you yourself would like to be and need to be blessed. That means do it. It's free. It's painless. Share this broadcast out, pour into someone, change their life, and let the rest just fall in place. Listen, get ready. You're going to be glad you're here. I promise you that. Here they come. The Oneness Wisdom, the gateway to the golden age. This is going to be good. See you soon. Enjoy.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Lauren. I appreciate the introduction. And I want to say welcome to one and all. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jordan Gray, as you can see, and I am a channel, an author, and a coach. So, I have been channeling an entity named Joshua for 43 years. Holy cow, where's the time go? Anyway, during that time, we've been presenting metaphysical and spiritual concepts to groups and to individuals over a period of 43 years. And in addition to that, Joshua and I wrote 2 books together. The first title is, oh boy, The Seventh Major Understanding, A Message of Awakening. And that's a mouthful. And the point is that that is Joshua's oneness wisdom philosophy, written down for all people to access. Now, it was during that time when, as I channeled Joshua and we're writing a book together, he started speaking of the golden age. And I hadn't heard of him speak of that before. But in the book, he also lays out a vision that he and I actually created together for what it might look like to live in a golden age of humankind. Now, what we want to do today is kind of explore that. What is the gateway to the golden age? What opens that gate? How do we get there from here? So I have assembled a group of experts and leaders that we will have a great conversation with. Now I want to introduce to you the person who will facilitate our panel conversation. His name is Brett D. Scott. He is the founder of Supercharged Freedom. Brett is a spiritual concierge, a mind alchemist, and also he is the transformational leader that helps groups free themselves from limiting beliefs and achieve their goals that had previously been eluding them. Now, Brett has won a number of business awards, and including that last year's Beam Award, he is Man of the Year for 2024. He's also got a TEDx talk, which I wish I had, and he's also in demand as an MC, a master of ceremonies, and as a speaker. So, welcome, Brett. Thank you so much for being here today. And I would like you to just take it away and introduce the rest of the panel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. And more importantly, from my perspective, the friendship that we have, it's a gift. It's a gift. And I'm excited, very excited to get into the conversation, the discussion with our other panelists that I'll obviously introduce for you as well. And it's going to be a wonderful time. So thank you again. All right. So who shall I start with? How about we start with, we might start with Kim Serafini. Kim Serafini. Now, Kim Serafini is also another great friend of mine. She is a creator and founder of Positive Prime Technology, which is a neuroscience-backed technology that helps individuals unlock their full potential. And get this, less than 3 minutes, and it lasts for 6 to 8 hours. Now, that full potential in 3 minutes is an actual flow state of happiness, joy, creativity, spirituality, perhaps as well. And it's incredible. Now, Kim I would actually call Kim an inventor. She has invented what most people might know as hot stone massage. Now, it was called lithos therapy back then, and we could get into a long discussion about that, but I won't because we're just trying to introduce everyone here. But Kim's passion is actually about making a massive difference on this planet. And if you follow Positive Prime, you probably see the positiveprime.com. Go to that website. You will see that there is a big expansion, just like the expansion that we're about to have in a discussion here. So follow Kim. Welcome, Kim.
Hello, Brett. Hello, Jordan and Joshua. It is such another privilege and pleasure to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. And we might see who else have we got next. I might invite Stacey Van Thun. Now, Stacey is from Canada. I should have said, by the way, Kim is in a beautiful part of Queensland called Noosa. If you've ever been to Australia and you've been to Queensland, Noosa is definitely somewhere you have to visit. So she's in a beautiful place. Stacey and I have been friends for some time as well. And Stacey is actually in Canada, Alberta, Canada, I believe. Now, Stacey has an incredible business called Raise Your Results. We met working with the late, great Bob Proctor, if anyone knows who he is. And Stacey's background, she comes from 20 years of corporate leadership. And at some point, she decided that, hey, I think there's more for me. Now, she is a lifelong student as well. And so she's going to bring a diverse understanding from different backgrounds of different teachers that she's learnt from, including Joe Dispenza, not just Bob Proctor. And she will no doubt give you some insights as she's talking as well. So welcome, Stacey. Your mic is muted.
Hey, I should learn this. Sorry, being in the cold right now, I may have got one. So I was like, I'm going to mute myself so I don't sneeze. But in that regard, I just want to say thank you. Hi, Jordan. Great to see you again, Brett and Kim. I'm excited for this conversation.
Yes, well, Stacey and I have also had a little play around with TV as well, but that's a conversation for another day. Now, next person we're going to get out is the lovely Pravina, who is she's a founder, I should say, of Yuga. She's a yoga therapist and a lot more. 30 years of practitioner experience, and her expertise is not just of yoga. You will discover as she talks into some of the ideas or maybe the parts of the conversation that she has with Jordan and Joshua and all of us, you'll see that she has incredible wisdom and knowledge. So welcome, Pravina.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you for having me, Joshua, Jordan, Brett, Kim, Stacey. It's an absolute pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you too, Pravina. So we've got one more amazing human that we've brought in. I should say Jordan has brought in. His name is Abdul Rabeba. Abdul is actually doing some great work with struggling dads. He is the founder of the Resilience Project. He recently just won, end of last year, won a national award for educational excellence at the Inspire Awards, which was definitely a dream for him. And so he's very excited to be sharing, maybe some different insights and maybe coming from a male perspective, if that is the fact that we have quite a lot of lovely ladies. Actually, we're split up 3 and 3. So this is actually quite a good mix, isn't it? so I guess we don't have, So Abdul, welcome, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely excited and grateful to be here joining the panel here. Thank you, Brett, and hello, Jordan, and to everyone else. I'm extremely excited for this amazing event. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And look, I think, Jordan, we're going to have such a beautiful conversation because we have such a diverse group. We have an even number of men and women, but we have a diverse group, diverse backgrounds, diverse learnings. And I think that's probably why you chose this group.
Absolutely. I believe in the strength of diversity. Coming at several different viewpoints, we can then unify into something that harmonizes for all of us. So, of course, that requires we keep ourselves open to hearing other people's ideas that may not agree with our own. And that's okay, too. We don't all have to be in lockstep, in order for us to achieve oneness.
I love that. Hey, Jordan, did you have something you wanted to open us up with before we get started? And then we might go around and have a few people ask their certain questions based around perhaps, the premise of what it is that we're going to be diving into for the audience that are watching.
Okay. I hadn't actually given that a lot of consideration. However, I would just say that Joshua's primary purpose is to open hearts and minds to the awareness, the expansion into our oneness and our unity. And it is through our learning to live in compassion, the transition from a fear based mass reality to a mass consciousness that is compassion and love based. And once we achieve compassion and love based interactions, human to human, person to person, and within myself, if I am at peace, we will have global peace. That is the only way it can
Mm,
be achieved, one person at a time.
that is a beautiful sentiment, and I think it's a great way to start. Hey, I might. I was going to jump the gun and ask a question, but I think that's probably a bit rude. So I might put it out to. I might put it out to. Let's say I can see Abdul to my right. Abdul, would you like to maybe start with a question for Jordan and Joshua?
Yeah, sure. There could be many questions, but let's start the first one. How can the idea that ease follows hardship and that things that we may dislike can actually be beneficial for us or to help us to navigate challenges and find peace during difficult times?
Yeah, that's so important because life gives us ups and downs, and we're gonna have those days. As a matter of fact, I just saw Stacy talking about you wouldn't enjoy the rainbows if you didn't have the rain, and you can't see the stars if it doesn't get dark sometimes. So life is going to throw us an unexpected curveball once in a while can be a real setback. So keeping in mind that all storms pass
Mm,
will help us sometimes get through our difficult moments. It won't always be this hard. There will be times when the path is open and easy to travel, and then there'll be times when there are obstacles that get in the way. So when we're challenging ourselves because we are drawing those obstacles to us when we're challenging ourselves to grow, keeping in mind that, yeah, this is hard, but it will pass. There will be a time, once again, when I can return to peace and ease. But for now, I'm climbing a mountain and I'm struggling a bit and it's a little bit hard. But I don't want to get into a spiral where I think life is always hard or
mm,
life is going to be difficult for me from now on. You know, you want to be able to use that sense that this will pass and I'll be fine. As a matter of fact, early on, I was in my 20s when I came across the Buddhist philosophy, this too shall pass.
Mhm.
And I have used that throughout this life to get me through some hellacious moments. So, does that answer your question, Abdul?
Absolutely. I actually love what you said and how you, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Mm,
and
my
we might see Miss Kim, who is down in my bottom left-hand side. Miss Kim, do you have a question for Jordan and Joshua?
What's occurring to me in this moment is what's the nature of reality?
Wow. That is so deep. I mean, esoterically, when we go beyond looking at the surface, you know, in our three-dimensional form, we focus outward and we start to think that what we see out here is real and that uh, all of these physical manifestations are what create reality. And that is an illusion. The truth is, our reality is created from our consciousness. And our consciousness is taking form in all of the stuff we see out there and all of the behaviors we attract to ourselves, all the people that we attract to ourselves. So, consciousness is the source of reality according to Joshua's teachings. Now, I've spent 40 some years studying this, and I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense to anyone. And yet, I don't want you to get locked into the idea that only that which appears in our three-dimensional reality is what is real. Dreams are real, the astral planes are real, angels are real, so on and so forth, into infinity. Anything you can think of and beyond exists within all that is. And all that is creates everything and exists in it equally. So there's just as much consciousness in a grain of sand as there is in Jordan or my car, or you know what I mean? Consciousness permeates everything.
Thank you.
Great
That's just
question.
my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep
That's
question. I could talk for days on this subject, but
we don't have days, Jordan, so
yeah.
we might move to the Sunshine and Rainbows lady of Stacey
Oh,
in
yeah.
Canada.
Hey, Jordan, I love what you were saying when you were talking with Abdul, and it's hard, I think, at times for people to understand how challenging in our lives can be because of something that we're doing individually. And I just kind of want to take us back, because even for me, when I was sharing out that we were going to be on this TV show today with you, some people were asking, like, what do you mean he channels? Who is Joshua? How does this work? And so it's kind of a two-part. One, can you explain maybe to someone that's not as
Spiritual?
spiritual or even familiar with channeling, how Jordan speaks to you and is like not in 3D world, and when you speak to some of the challenges that come into our lives, we're actually bringing it in. Can you help people understand or share from Joshua's or your own perspective of how that can be? Because a lot of people are like, what do you mean? I don't want this. How could I be saying or having this come into my life? Not recognizing potentially that even having that elevated emotion around it is what is causing it to come closer to them. So.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Stacy. So, of course, let's address the thing about channeling. We are all channeling. Guess what? Right
Thank
now,
you.
all of you are channeling. You are channeling your spirit into manifestation at every moment. It never shuts off. So we're all channeling, right?
Yeah.
But because I made it, this is my take on it. I made an agreement prior to entering this Jordan life, because I wanted to experience this, that I would be a channel. And for me, what it's like is opening my thoughts to the universal consciousness. And I, like a radio dial, I can tune into a certain frequency that I call Joshua. And on that channel, Joshua is live 24/7. And I can always tune into him and bring him into my conscious awareness. And then as that works through my conscious awareness, I have surrendered parts of my body to him for use, including my respiratory system so he can make words and use my mouth, my face, my hands. It's been quite a journey. When I first started channeling Joshua, I had to go into deep meditation to tune the radio dial and find him, and then bring him through. And I made an agreement with Joshua that I would not be what they call a sleeping channel or a sleeping trance, because I want to hear everything he's sharing, everything he's teaching was for my benefit. So I said, I don't want to be a sleeping channel. I want to hear you when you talk. So that was an agreement I made with him. And so when I channeled Joshua through in the beginning, even though I was in a deeper state, alpha, theta levels of brainwaves, I could hear and understand what he was teaching. Well, understand, that's something that takes time. I could certainly hear what he was teaching and then ponder it later. And then as our relationship developed, we got closer, closer, closer in our integration. And I am now able to bring Joshua through in any brainwave state, except Delta. I have yet to channel Joshua while I'm sleeping. So I'm told, anyway. Uh, so that's about the channeling, Stacy.
Thank
And
you.
then,
I appreciate that.
yeah, and the second part of your question had to do with how it is sometimes we attract crap. Why did I do that?
We only want to take credit when we attract the good stuff.
That's right. Life is going great. I made that happen.
That's
and
right.
Here's some crap. I'm blaming you.
This is it.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Yeah, the truth is the sooner we take responsibility for all of our reality, every bit of it, is when we can start to awaken to our power to make a transition. Now, does that mean that even though I'm aware right now, I create my own reality? I've created the everyday rainbows and butterflies and happiness? No, I still have challenges. And you know what? I welcome them, because the truth is, when everything's all happy, joyful, I've stopped growing. I'm just being. And there is certainly time and place for that. It is our reward sometimes for going through our lessons. So I've attracted some uncomfortable stuff. This is garbage. Why would I do that to me? That's the question to ask. What is it I'm learning from this? What am I learning from this? What is in this for me to learn? And the sooner I learn it, the sooner I get out of it. That's my experience. Also, the sooner I learn it, the less I have to repeat it. Now, I will confess, I have had lessons in patience my whole life. So, have I learned patience? Heck no. But I'm still working on it. And in those moments now where my patience is challenged, I ask myself, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Oh, yeah, patience. So the sooner I actually apply it to life, the less I'm challenged.
Thank you. I love that. And it's really that reframe of this happening for me than to me.
Exactly.
And what can I learn, right?
Well said, Stacy.
Great question, Stacey, and I'm glad you asked, especially the first one. Pravina, you've been patiently waiting. Is some patience for you Jordan can learn from?
Yes.
Do you want to share, or do you want to ask a question?
Sure. I absolutely love this topic of oneness, because that's pretty much the very definition of what yoga is. It's just being one with everything. And I think the thing that really comes out for me is masculinity and femininity, both. So when we're tapping into energies, and I think I'm going to go into a two-part question as well, keeping with Stacey's theme. So the first part of my question is, with masculinity and femininity, so there's a lot of different terms that's used. So in the yoga terms, we've got Shiva and Shakti, or we've got the yin and the yang, which I know, Jordan, I get it in that, you know, the symbol in every emoji text message that I receive from you, which I absolutely love. And I guess my question is, how do we practically embrace both masculinity and femininity? And the second part of the question is, do we need a balance of both or not really?
No. So, how do we balance? That is a challenging question. You know, I was sharing with Brett, I think, just a few days back, that the way autopilot works on an airplane is it's constantly going off course and correcting, going off course and correcting the whole time it's flying. Off course, on course, off course, on course. And that is kind of the way humans operate. We get in balance, out of balance, in balance, out of balance. But the comfort zone is balance. On the extremes, when we get out on the extremes, masculinity and femininity can be challenging for us to encounter. Some ideas of what is masculinity don't align with my beliefs, and some ideas of what is femininity also don't align with my beliefs. But again, that comes down to, what do I believe? Now, I think that the yin yang energy, as we say in North America, yin yang. The yin yang energy has to do with receptive feminine energy and productive masculine energy. Now, the Taoist created this philosophy of yin yang And their idea of what was productive male energy and what was feminine is actually based upon sex. Yes? The male is productive, the female is receptive. So that's how that whole philosophy of male and female energy kind of evolved in Taoism. To get into balance, though, with that, is what we want to do is recognize feelings don't have gender. Ah,
So good.
all of my feelings are valid, and none of my feelings are male, and none of my feelings are female, right? But as little boys, we're
That's
taught,
so
don't you dare cry, and man up, take it like a man. And so we're taught that we're not supposed to be soft and gentle. We're not supposed to, we have to be strong. And so our culture has taught us how a man behaves. And our culture has taught us how a woman behaves. And it's okay for a woman to be soft and receptive and to cry and to nurture. Well, you know what? A man can be soft and receptive and nurturing, and that's not feminine. However, because of our cultural training, we're taught to think, oh, he's kind of weak, he's squishy or something. Joshua taught me I had to say I love you to everyone. You know how awkward that is at first for me to say I love you to a man, and some of them look at me like, are you gay or are you coming on to me or what? And women, same thing. Are you coming on to me? What are you? It's like, I just love you. And that love has nothing to do with sex. So, balancing my energies, I need to recognize that there is no characteristic, behavior, or emotion that is male or female. They are not identified by gender. These are feelings that are on the human spectrum, and we experience all of them. But we are taught, some men are taught, hide your soft feelings, and women are taught, don't be aggressive, don't come in here acting like a guy. So it's cultural. We need to change how we teach our children about what is okay, just to be a human being.
I love that.
And what was the second
beautiful.
question again,
Oh, yes, the
Pravina?
second question was, does it matter, right? Did you ask, do we need to balance masculine and feminine? Was that your question?
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes and no. How about that? Is that how about I'll give you a non-committed answer. I think for some of us, it is an important pursuit. And particularly if you're out on the edges, out on the extremes, it's a valuable pursuit to bring yourself into balance. However, for most people, it's not necessarily a goal they need to achieve.
There you go. Did
Sure.
that answer all of your two questions? Yes.
Sure did.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Hey,
Brett. Thank you, Ravine.
and by the way, I'm going to ask a question, but if any of you, feel excited to add to what we're talking about, or you want to butt in because my question's boring, feel free to do that. But otherwise, I'll keep going around the room and getting questions. Stacey's going to cut in.
Brett, I just want to jump in on what you were saying, Jordan, around I loved when you said feelings don't have gender. That just kind of hit. And even I think there's a tricky word with the word balance, because I think a lot of us have grown up where balance means 50-50. And I don't think that balance is a matter of making sure that it's 50-50, but how it is allowing you to feel in that moment. Can you just kind of expand on that? Because I think that there's this, I think balance is an interesting word. I hear it all the time in corporate, right? I want work-life balance. Well, what does that mean? And there's times if you're doing your passion that you may spend 80% of your time doing that. But if you can show up fully and completely and whole in others, is that not still balanced? And, in relationships, that if I have a downward day, I maybe need someone to pour a little bit more into me, but together we achieve that balance. So can you help maybe continue on, or what does that kind of ignite in you when I ask those questions?
What it brings up in me is That's a very good point, Stacy, that balance doesn't necessarily mean 50-50. So even if you take a look at the Taoist symbol of the yin yang, in the white there is a dot that is black, and in the black there's a dot that is white.
Yeah.
So both exist in harmony. And that harmony in our, sometimes we need to bring forth our power, our strength, our what would be considered productive or yang energy. So yeah, at the moment I'm not in balance, but I'm doing what I need to do in the moment. And I liked how you brought up that even in relationships, there are days when I have a whole lot to give, and then there are days when I need to receive. So the balance I speak of is giving and receiving and allowing the flow. And on the very edges where the yin and yang connect, there is a gray area. And in that gray area, we feel peaceful. And then on the extremes, we can get agitated, let's say. We can get excited. We can really get carried away. And so within our lifetime, let's say I had a moment where something just set me off and I blew up at someone. And they probably didn't need that, you know, but I needed to let it out, or it was going to bottle up in me and eventually cause health problems. What I need to do though is be aware, because I always end up going back and saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I lost my cool, and I was having a down day or whatever, make some kind of lame excuse. But the truth is, it's my behavior. I own it. I'm responsible for it. You didn't cause me to get mad. I did. And I'm sorry. And I want to learn how to express that feeling when I feel that in a way that's less violent, let's say, less harmful. I want to learn to express, I'm feeling XYZ and I'm feeling it really intensely, but I don't need to bash you over it. So I could go on and on. I apologize. I don't want to take up all the time here. Let's move. If that answers your question, let's move.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I want to hear Brett's question, the boring question.
The boring,
Never boring with Brett.
the boring question. Yes, save the boring till last. And by the way, my question won't be the last question. I think we've got about 15 minutes roughly until we're going to have a commercial break. So there's still time for discussion. So if anyone else has something that they want to share in this time, feel free. But no one can cut me off now. Here's my question. My question's for Joshua. And Joshua, my question is, what do you think of this discussion today? And what do you think of the people that Jordan has assembled for the conversation that we're having?
Well, Brett. Okay, sometimes to tune the radio dial and bring through Joshua, I close my eyes. So please don't be surprised if Joshua's asked a question and I close my eyes. Hello, beloved ones. It is my honor and my joy to be in your presence. I know who you are. You are gods and goddesses on earth, and you are all doing your role to bring about the golden age. You are the planters of the seeds, and you water them with your intention and your attention. Now, these seeds are germinating and they will sprout, and yet the day we plant the seed is not the day we eat the fruit. Each of you do what you do, love what you do, express yourself wholly and totally. Now, brother Brett, if I were to go into how I feel about each and every one of these people individually, it would be perhaps too personal for this format. But I do want them to know I love you. You are beautiful. I support you. And I offer my services, my power, my strength, and also my love and compassion to you in every moment. Call me anytime, and I will answer you. That is my promise. So I think that answers your question, Brett.
It
Hopefully.
does,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I love it.
yeah, it does, and I think, you know, it's one of those conversations that the term oneness is so broad, you know, so
Yes.
broad, and yet it means something so simple. And so I don't know. I might ask another question until someone puts their hand up.
Uh,
Yep. So my next question is on oneness. Why do you think it's important for anyone that's watching? Why do you think it's important for them to really consider being a part of the whole, or being one with everything and everyone? Why do you think it's important for them to consider it for their daily life, maybe their purpose?
one benefit is, first of all, the recognition that you are all one with all that is all the time. So, as a conscious being in the pool of mass consciousness, you are contributing to the reality we see in our world today. You are changing the world with your thoughts, with your feelings. Every thought, every feeling you have is dropped into the pool of mass consciousness, and it ripples outward from you like radio beams from a tower. And you influence others. You have no control over them, but you influence them. And so, since we are all influencing one another, when we recognize each other as, I'm just another you, I'm just another you, I have no reason to fear you. I have no reason to want or take anything from you. And actually, I have no reason to require anything of you. I just want to connect us to what already is. What already is oneness. Our awareness of it is sleeping. And Joshua wants to awaken us, not to cause us to change, other than just to awaken parts of ourselves that are sleeping. And as those parts awaken, we recognize our connection is inseparable. So, yes, everything you think, everything you feel affects the mass consciousness, and the mass consciousness creates our global reality. So if we want to change global reality, we have to start right here, right here. I change me. That's all I'm responsible for. I can't change anyone else, but I have influence. So when we
I love that.
awaken to oneness, Joshua has taught me from the very start, he believes oneness wisdom is the gateway to the golden age. And that is why we think it's so important to teach.
Beautiful.
And also it's my path. I mean, this is something I agreed to do on my journey of this lifetime. So I'm on my journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great explanation for other people who aren't on the same journey as you, Jordan, to understand why should they consider. And I think you've actually answered it quite well. I can see Kim looking intently and really taking in everything that's being shared. Do you have something else you might like to ask Jordan or Joshua?
And for me, oneness seems like an ethereal concept, and I connect into that. I imagine the ever expansive version of me, almost vaporized, or it becomes so expanded that the tiny particles of me are mixing and merging with the gazillions of tiny particles of everybody else and everything across all time, spaces, dimensions, realities, and frequencies. And so for me, the oneness is not just here in this physical plane. It's actually our permanent connection with all that ever was, all that there'll ever be, and all that there is. Joshua, how do we maintain that awareness that we are in oneness? I kind of feel like it's flying through space, or it's, the fish swimming through the ocean. How do we maintain that awareness? And is that even necessary?
That's the key question right there, Kim. You came right down to it. Is that even necessary? So, when you go into the etheric state where your physical material that makes up the body you think you own dissipates into space and becomes blended with all time and all consciousness, that is a state that is not conducive for living a lifetime. I'm sorry. That is like, perhaps you should go sit in a cave and contemplate your navel, and not interact with other beings. So we go in and out of that awareness of consciousness. However, what I found, because at first, oneness was an intellectual thing for me. Yeah, I got it. I get it. I understand it. Yeah, it was all an intellectual thing for me. And then it became an experience. During a meditative experience, I thought at one point I was spread so thin throughout the universe I was going to vanish, and I got scared. Boom, I was right back in my body. So that's what fear does for us, right? However, we're not intended as human beings to be constantly conscious of all that is. As a human being, you get to have a lifetime, therefore, focusing on your own journey, your own goals, your own mission, everything that you want to be. So we go in and out of conscious awareness of oneness. But what we want to do then is integrate from intellect down into the heart center and start to experience oneness when we greet each other. When we meet other people, remember, there's only one being here. Yeah? Taking on billions of shapes and forms and missions and experiences, there's only one being here. That's how we keep it in mind in all of our daily activity.
Great answer. Kim liked that, I think.
Hey,
So
three.
we've got three.
Go ahead,
You go,
Brett.
Jordan.
No, I was just going to say your part.
Well, hey, you are named as the host, but
Okay.
actually, but actually, just for clarity for everyone, I'm helping to host, and Jordan, this is Jordan's special, and so we're Jordan and Joshua, and so we're purposely putting ourselves out, putting ourselves out. We're purposely asking questions that are relevant to the topic of, the gateway to the golden age. So we have 3 minutes until a break. So who's got a quick question? Not Stacey. I know your questions aren't quick. What about Abdul? You got a quick question?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be a quick question, but I was going to ask that how can a deep sense of spirituality grounded, how can that be grounded with faith to enhance our lives and strengthen our connection with others? That was the initial question I had in mind earlier.
That's a good deep question.
Especially in a world where materials is one of the priorities of pursuits. Everyone's engaged with materials of the world, with the world, which sometimes becomes a distraction rather than a investment.
Yeah, great question. And yes, we definitely will answer, or I should say Jordan will answer that question after the break, because that's a really good deep question. So yeah, definitely. How's everyone feeling?
We'll go to break now, I think, Brett. Yeah? We'll go to
We will
break
go
and then answer Abdul's question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've got a question from Stacey too.
Okay.
Oh, all good.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Beautiful.
You can navigate the legal and emotional journey of divorce and exit a marriage the way you entered it, with mindfulness, love, and respect. Solace Divorce Mediation is a full-service law practice helping couples focus on the health and well-being of children and their forever co-parenting family. Our streamlined divorce journey offers flat fees with an estimated completion time frame of 2 to 4 months. If you or a friend need us, visit solacedivorce.com.
Hello. We're back.
Hello, hello. How are you?
How are you? I am well, my brother. You know, something I observed while we were all on the screen like the Brady Bunch is that it's pretty obvious that it's hot and summer down under, and you're all dressed very summer, spring-like. And Stacy and I, who live up here in the cold north, we're wearing our sweaters. So I observed, hey, you know, we're such a diverse group, and I'm really happy to have you all here. I do want to say that I know each of you are leaders and teachers in your own right, and you have your own answers to the types of questions that have been asked today. And thank you for letting me share Joshua and what I have learned from Joshua with you today. But I'd go be a panelist on your show too and ask you questions if you wish.
Do you know, and I love that you said that, and you're absolutely right. We all, in our own different, unique ways, are leaders and have our own ideas on this exact topic. But I don't know about everyone else. I like not having to be the one answering all the questions this time. So I'm happy to ask the questions and listen for a change.
No.
So it's good. And I think we've covered quite a bit already, which is wonderful. And we have had as we said before the break, we had a couple of questions. Abdul asked a really important one, and we did also have Stacey. I think we might start with Stacey's though, because she essentially asked, some people might be wondering, what is the gateway to the golden age? Why have we chosen that as a title?
Was that your question, Stacey?
Well,
I was just thinking, like,
you go, Stace.
coming in, like, we've been blessed to know you, Jordan, and have met Joshua in the past. At least Brett and I had one time a podcast with you. And I'm curious if there are people just tuning in for the first time and wondering, like he spoke of, even in your last question when you're answering it for Kim with the golden age, what is the gateway to the golden age, and why is this important?
As Joshua teaches it, he believes the gateway, or the key that actually opens our entrance into the golden age, is our awareness of oneness. That's where it begins. Because in our awareness of oneness, we are able to shift out of fear and into connection and compassion. And these are important seeds we are planting to bring forth a time on the planet. So the golden age, Joshua calls it. Bring forth a time on the planet where we actually achieve global peace. Yes. And we have never done that in our known history. So it is a challenge to our creativity, our mass consciousness. We have a challenge before us. It's calling to us. How do we create global peace? So Joshua is playing his role as the teacher of oneness. Now, there are lots of gateways and openings to get to this age of peace, abundance, compassion, understanding, the end of troubles we manifest on the global stage. Now, each of us is called actually to pay attention to a certain challenge that is before us on the global stage. One of the challenges I have often encountered in my lifetime was global starvation, the condition of global starvation. And Joshua taught me what he calls a method of inside out healing. And I can go into deeper thoughts about that, but I will just share with you what I do is go inside and find what is starving in me. Where am I starving? How can I fill that? What will fulfill that? Because I'm obviously not starving for food, right? But there are people on the planet who need sustenance. Now, going deeper esoterically in the mass consciousness, as long as humans have parts of themselves that are starving, people will manifest on the planet to show us that, right? So once we have fulfilled ourselves completely, people will not manifest on the planet to starve to death. It will vanish. You see, this is inside out healing, and it works very clearly because when we do outside in healing, we often try to draw attention to the problem. Look at all the starving people. And the more you look at the starving people, the more people starve. So Kim loves it, expansion. So we don't look for that. We look within. Where am I starving? And feed it. Yes. So, Stacey, I think I've wandered off your question, but what is the golden age? It is a time when humans live in harmony, not only with each other, but with the planet itself. Humans turn and begin to nurture Mother Earth. She is our only source of physical life. We must sustain Mother. And so, when humans stop thinking that we can draw from without replenishing, then we have this balance, this imbalance we kind of live in today. So we need to come into a conscious awareness of our oneness with the earth, with all people, all animals, all minerals, and so on and so forth. Like Kim said, just one with everything. That's a joke I heard a long time ago. This guru was in New York City. He walked up to a hot dog vendor and said, "Make me one with everything." That's my dad joke.
That's good. That's good. I
Oh,
like it.
Brett, we know you'll be using it as your dad joke.
I'm definitely using that one. I usually have a deck of dad joke cards next to my my computer. I don't at
Oh,
the
I
moment.
didn't know that.
It's probably good I don't have them handy because I might use them. That I think you've just used the best.
I actually just wanted to pick up on your awareness around a global issue or challenge, and is one of the pathways, just as you would look in to see where am I starving, is our general advice to look in and notice where we're feeling peaceful and compassionate and kind. And the more we all focus on that aspect of us, which is always there, the more that will expand to become that universal experience. Do we bring about the golden age? Can we be the agents for that? Can we do that in an amplified and an accelerated manner just by switching what we focus on internally? Or must we actually think about the problems, the issues, and solve for those first?
Great question.
That is a great question. And I think you can do it either way. I think that if you focus internally on all parts of the self that are harmonious, then you are going to be projecting that out into the mass consciousness. The pool that you're dropping your thoughts and feelings into is going to radiate outward that energy. However, we want to be cautious to not ignore the shadow, shall we call it? We do not want to ignore our whole self. You see, all that is manifesting exists for a reason. And so if there are global issues, that is coming from the mass consciousness. So my attention has been drawn to war, let's say war. Oh, goodness. How do I create peace within? Where am I in conflict in here? So you said, yeah, I go in and I look at where I'm kind and I'm loving and I'm giving. And yes, I do that. And I also go inside though and look, where am I hungry and where am I in conflict with myself? And I want to learn to resolve conflict within without coercion, force, or anything that would create violence. So I need to learn to be the peacemaker within myself. And as I become more skilled at making peace within self, then I am able to project out peace. So I think your point is well taken in that what I dwell on is what goes in the pool of mass consciousness. And so you dwelling upon your generosity, your goodness, your brilliance, your beautiful heart, all that you are, angel on earth. And so, yes, you project that outward, and yet be cautious. Look at your shadow. Don't let it come up and bite you in the butt.
That's good. That's really good. Hey, we might go to Abdul's question that we had before the break. Do you remember what he asked, or do you want him to repeat?
I would like Abdul to summarize his question, please.
Yes, the question was basically how can a deep sense of spirituality be grounded with faith to enhance our daily lives, strengthen our connection with other people around us, especially in a world where material has become a priority of pursuits.
Yes. Okay. Well, I believe that in your work where you are helping struggling dads, you will notice that the ones who have spiritual faith will bounce back faster, will have more resilience in the long run. Because what is stable is my faith, my trust in whatever this thing I think that's outside of me might be, and know that really it is in here. But yet, those who have faith will be more resilient because that is stable. While emotionally, I may be all over the place or going through a great deal of struggle, or mentally, I might be stressed out of my mind. But my faith, when I return to that, is always stable. That is my place of stability. And I can tell you from personal experience, I was raised in an atheist household, didn't know anything about spirituality, didn't know it existed. And then when I did discover it, oh, wow, it changed my whole life. So when I was able to become more aware of my wholeness, that includes my spirituality, I felt more, my relationships changed. Everything seemed to kind of get better because I was more whole in myself.
Love that. Great answer, I think. What do you think, Abdul?
Oh, that's I actually like this answer. Amazing, yeah. I think I honestly think that faith and spirituality is not separated,
No.
or does not necessarily
Yeah.
mean that it needs to be separated from our daily lives. I think it's a very integral part of every single aspect in our existence, and I think it's more of also as a guiding force, I'd say, that basically shapes how we interact with the world and others around us. It gives us a deep sense of spirituality rooted when spirituality is rooted with faith at the same time, it also allows us to prioritize values like compassion, harmony, love, gratitude, integrity, which in turn it strengthens our relationship with others, and and creates a sense of what I would like to call is inner peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
thank you, Abdul. And that really was a beautiful question for everyone that's watching as well, because, yeah, some people might have spirituality or faith, but not really make that connection to how they can navigate that world of emotion that we fall into, especially when things aren't working out or aren't working well. Pravina, lovely Pravina, I think you've got a question about global citizenship, maybe, possibly.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Ask
just
away.
us being connected here from, like, all these parts of the world, like with technology advancing. And I just wanted to really talk about global citizenship or bring it up because, there's people who there's just access to so much more technology and resources that help to connect us. So, I mean, like, I'm here in Brisbane, Australia right now, but literally I could jump on a flight and be in another part of the world in the next few hours. And, we all have so much more exposure to each other's different cultures. There's so many content creators who share from the heart and, just make understanding of different religions a lot more, what do you say, they give the in-depth insights. And there's people with dual citizenship who, different parts of the world. And I just want to ask, what's your opinion on whether this kind of global connection has that actually brought us more together, or has it divided us further in terms of religion, politics, and all of those? Because, there's keyboard warriors who can just jump on and make nasty comments, and, it's so easy to create a divide that way. Love to hear your thoughts
Okay.
on that.
Yeah, I enjoyed hearing your thoughts on that. So it seems to me that our world is shrinking. Let's put it that way. Because, like you said, we have this technology that connects us now that we didn't have even, what was it, 50, 60 years ago. We could not all connect like this from Australia and the United States and Canada all at one time. So, yeah, our world is shrinking. Now, I think that elevates the importance of global citizenship, of recognizing that there is value in each of the cultures and each of the nations, and that when we visit other cultures. It's nice to learn about them, share in their experiences. And yet we've been trained in our own culture, our own beliefs. And so we might run into beliefs that conflict with our own. Being open to hearing ideas that do not align with my own is a very important part of expanding my viewpoint. So, I want to expand my viewpoint so that I can sit and listen to someone that I truly disagree with and yet not be disagreeable. I can listen to them with compassion and recognize, first of all, what they believe creates their reality, but it does not create mine. I create my reality. So if someone is telling me, for example, I've encountered this, that I have to have Jesus in my heart to be saved and go to heaven when I die, right? I disagree, but I don't have to be disagreeable about it. I can say, thank you. I know you're saying that because you love me. I know you're saying that because you want the best for me. And I'm comfortable following the path I'm on. Thank you for loving me, you know? And it used to be when I'd hear someone say that, I'd kind of bristle at it. I don't anymore. I just say thank you. So it's that type of cultural citizenship that's going to bring us all into the golden age. Yeah, time of peace.
I think it's a great question, and it definitely aligns with the conversation. And your answer is that oneness connection, that
Yes.
that person or people are having their own different experience based on their own reality, based on their own beliefs.
Yeah, and
So,
their own
yeah,
mission. We're not all here on the same mission.
no,
That
exactly.
would be boring, wouldn't it?
Stacey, feel like you're going to ask something.
But when you say around, yeah, well, I love this. And when you say around the mission that we're on, though, in order to achieve oneness, is everybody on a mission of some type to promote that? But the how is different for each?
I don't see that everyone is on the mission of bringing us into oneness. So, how Joshua explains it is each of us come into the lifetime with our own purpose for being here. The experiences we want, the people we're going to meet, the karma we're going to balance, whatever. So we're all here on our own. I designed my play upon the stage, let's call it. So in my play upon the stage, oneness is a central focus. And yet, other people are on a totally different mission, so to speak. However, right now, Joshua says there is a collective that has been born into this time to plant these seeds and to water them with love. So we are the early adapters, so to speak. We are the ones making the seeds go into the soil, and those seeds will be nurtured over a period of time until they blossom. And so imagine that some people here right now are sleeping. And we don't get mad at them for sleeping. It's okay to sleep, right? Sometimes we all need rest. Some people are here on a journey of, I'm just here to play. That's my mission. I decided I needed one lifetime in which I just get to kick back, have fun, you know? And they may not seriously look at spirituality or have extraordinary challenges. Some of the teachers, well, actually, Joshua tells me most of the teachers of the new way have all gone through difficult experiences in life that caused you to look deeper inside and to awaken yourself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
coming out of slumber, we don't always wake up fully alert and ready to go. So, some of us come around. Now, so he says that at this time there are a number of people on the planet still sleeping. And so we are here, the ones softly whispering, wake up now, wake up now. It's time to wake up now. We don't jar them awake and we don't want to shake them. No, that gets resistance. But just to simply say, wake up now. Generally speaking, people, they hear it on a certain level, and yet it's not something that jars them or makes them think there's something wrong with them. They're just asleep. We all sleep sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. I guess my question was more around, and maybe I didn't phrase it in the way that I wanted to, but I kind of had this aha moment when you and Kim were talking about, and I love the way Kim said we're being an agent. And if people, though, were awake to their own calling, their own purpose, increase their awareness, then through that would find more love internally, then it would resonate in a way that could bring us closer to the golden age.
Yes, I agree. And I apologize for misinterpreting your question.
No, it wasn't you. It was me.
Oh.
No, it was just like kind of this aha moment of like, but at the end of it, it's all love.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that simple? How easy is that? Love one another. How easy is that?
Do you know, can I extend what Stacey has asked, maybe? Because, you know, I popped in the chat, which of course our audience, and thank you for tuning in, by the way, everyone, our audience that are watching, hopefully having a great time, hopefully enjoying the depth of what we're actually talking into. Hopefully it's making some one, some sense, and two, that it's enjoyable to listen to. But my added question is, you know, I popped in the chat that I was asleep for 39, if not 43 years until I went, oh, I actually need to do something. I actually need to make a difference in some small, unique way. And Kim corrected me and said I was awake to different things. Correct. But my question is, you know, I would say there are so many people, and if we use the term matrix, you know, the Dr. Bruce Lipton said the movie The Matrix is a documentary. It's not actually a science fiction film. Now, whether that's the truth or not, it's really up to you to believe whatever you believe. But my point in that is that so many of us are going through life without any real direction, as we were talking about, and you call it being asleep. And so do you think we need to, as you said quietly, do we need to shake and wake people up to not necessarily be on a mission of a sort, but maybe to follow and help and be a part of the, you know, the way that we can actually make the difference? And my question in that is, when I think about growing up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we all, or most of us, watched television and listened to the news, and maybe we read newspapers. And if anyone's, you know, born after the year 2000, they might be thinking, what's this guy talking about? Anyway, we grew up with TV programming, right? And we were programmed. And so my question is, you know, there's a way that, let's say, the governments or whoever were programming us with different things, adverts, whatever. Is there a way for us to program in a more positive way? Kim's looking at me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Is there a
Let's
way?
ask Kim this question. She is our expert in neuroscience.
Well, my question was not necessarily whether we can, because I know we can, and Kim can definitely talk into that. But my question more is about the majority of people. Let's say we've got nearly 8 billion people, if not 8 billion people on the planet.
More than 8 billion now.
More than 8 billion.
Yes.
So with that, you know, I don't know the numbers of people sleeping, and I'm sure there's no actual stat about it, but is there a way for us, and should we or could we, is probably the question, should we be trying to help them to wake up in a more positive manner for oneness?
Yeah. Kim, if you would like to say something about Positive Prime, you're welcome to at this time. It is an amazing tool to help individuals reprogram beliefs that are causing them to stumble or are creating obstacles for themselves. So Positive Prime is one of the tools that I use to help myself maintain my focus on what I want to change within myself. And okay, so Can we be doing it? You know, Gandhi, I was thinking of Gandhi. He made a statement, I'm going to paraphrase, that with your example, you can gently shake the world. He did say gently. So Gandhi shook the world and he freed a nation from their oppressors. So you can gently shake the world. You could be the next Gandhi if you wish. It depends upon your mission and your ambition. But here's what I want to draw back to oneness is that as you are, your consciousness is just as powerful as a Gandhi or a Jesus or a Buddha. Your consciousness is a part of the whole. It cannot ever be separate. You don't ever get to have a private thought. I know you think you do. I know you want to believe my thoughts are private. Nobody knows them. No, your thoughts are in the pool of mass consciousness, and some of us are influenced by them. So you are just as powerful as any being in existence by a thought right now, by the love you share right now. You are gently shaking the pool of mass consciousness right now. Don't ever forget that.
That's a great answer.
You are
I hadn't
powerful
thought that.
creators on earth, powerful creators. Yes. Okay, that was a Joshua Jordan chorus. I hope that made sense.
It was beautiful.
It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, who would like to maybe ask another question? Maybe it's even, you know, veering off the proverbial track. Feel free to, you know, express anything. I know Jordan would love it if you want to share some ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe actually we'll go to Kim. I will go to Kim, and Jordan kind of said, hey, you feel free to talk about Positive Prime. And it's not about advertising what it is we're doing, but I think it really is one of those keys.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. You know, the beautiful thing about Positive Prime, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's essentially an online platform. You access it as a subscriber and you personalize the experience so that you integrate the wisdom into your identity. Yeah. And that allows you to act it out or rapidly change your behaviors and your habits in a very enduring way. It really and truly is a self-love ritual when you're viewing a Positive Prime session and you're focused whilst you're in the flow state, which is really synchronization of alpha and theta waves with bursts of gamma. Now, for me, that is connection into the collective consciousness, and that is the communion that we have with infinite intelligence and source energy. And so whilst you're in that communication with that connection and you're in a state of flow, if you're then focused on your personal images, which would arise from your concentration on your vision board or your dream board or your wishes and your desires list, and marry and merge that with the photographs that are the greatest memories that you've got, the highlights of your life, what you're truly grateful for, right? So imagine there's this audiovisual experience. In Positive Prime, there are hundreds of sessions. That's what we call our modules or our content. And they're written by people like Jordan Joshua or Brett, Jack Canfield. Like I could seriously list the 100 top. The point is, if we had millions of people on planet Earth viewing Positive Prime sessions that they'd personalized, what would be in the quantum field would be all of that goodness and that love and that deliciousness. And yes, Positive Prime is me following my calling, but it's really because I needed something tangible that was evidence-based, empirically studied, that contributed to waking the majority of humanity up. And it's like that ripple effect and the domino effect, right? So, you know, there are thousands of us, and then there'll be tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands, and it will accelerate like, you know, the snowball going down or the avalanche. That's probably a pretty intense example, the avalanche. But anyway, that doesn't have very nice connotations. But I think you know what I mean. Like, I actually do truly believe with modern technology, we will get to the stage where mass consciousness is love.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because we will have a chance for all of our thoughts, which are stimulated by things like a positive prime session, will have that combined, and the exponential effect of that is a bit like the atom bomb going off. So I do believe that the advances in neuroscience with brain computer interfaces and, you know, with apps, we will get much closer, much faster, much sooner, this state of pure peace within and therefore around us, and harmony in the environment and a rebalancing. And back to your 8 billion people, you know, there are estimations that there will be 10 billion people within the next 25 years. And at the moment, there can't be harmony on planet Earth. It just agriculturally to provide the food that's required by 10 billion people. So we have to get to this state and this place where there is love and peace, but also peace, quite frankly, with wildlife reappearing versus disappearing, where development is arrested, or we actually find much more innovative ways to go about it. That's going to require that we are all in this place where, because we're in oneness, we understand the consequences and implications of ourselves, we have a chance of refueling, refreshing, regenerating, and ensuring that we replenish ourselves and Mother Earth so that we can support 10 billion and growing rapidly. And quite frankly, modern medicine has meant that we don't have the death of disease that actually kept the population low even 25 years ago or 250 years ago. So some of this is necessary, it's essential, and it's vital. And we're the, you know, I don't like the word change makers. It's like, we're the game changers, yes, but we're the change creators. We are a creative force in oneness.
Yes.
And for me, that's the purpose of all of our lives. If we're not growing, we're in atrophy or we're dying. We're here to grow in love.
Exactly.
So thank you for giving me that opportunity to share.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. And I'd like to add on to that, because Joshua also has taught me that there is something called a mass consciousness tipping point, let's call it, right? Where what you call the quantum field, I call mass consciousness. It's the same thing, right? So within the mass consciousness, there's a tipping point where if, and it's been expressed as the 100th monkey experiment, if some of you have heard of that. But when a certain number, and that number is unknown, of the tribe gets a new way of doing something, then that tipping point becomes spontaneous, and the rest of the tribe just picks it up without having to be taught, right? And positive prime is one of those tools, like you say, when it reaches a certain mass consciousness, bam, there can be a spontaneous change. And Joshua also talks about in the golden age, there is a return to a more agrarian society, so we do produce nourishing food to feed the people of the planet. So yes, the changes coming to us in the golden age are creative. Our mass consciousness is being challenged to come up with new ways of doing same old stuff, where we actually get to the point where we don't exchange money anymore to buy goods and services. They just flow to us and we flow out, in and out. The yin and yang, the receptive and the productive. That's what we become. And thank you so much for sharing about Positive Prime. It's a tool that I use and I love it. I'll shut up now.
Yeah. Oh, Stacey, you're. Oh, I thought Stacey was talking to us. No, she's talking to her daughter, maybe.
No, I got you. You know what? That was just so beautiful. I was just saying, like, when Kim was talking, you know what it is like when you came to that place of like, we can't continue to grow the physical things to feed our ego. That it comes just from the state of like, we don't have to go outside of ourselves for anything because we realize we have it all. And I was just like, oh, good. So good. So good. Like,
Stacey's nourished. All right, we have.
I am inside out healing, Brett.
Yeah.
Inside out healing.
Yes.
That's
I
a
know it.
bumps moment.
Hey, I want to. I think we're going to
Commercial?
Well, I think we've got a minute to go. And so I think we might wrap it up and say a huge thank you to everyone for coming along and joining in the conversation. And I would say, before I say goodbye to everyone, Jordan, would say thank you so much to the audience for tuning in. Thank you, Dr. Lauren, for actually coming in on the weekend to help us put this on. Really grateful to him. And Pravina, Stacey, Abdul, Kim, Brett, that's me, Jordan. Thank you so much for having us here.
I want
Any
to
final
thank
words?
you folks down under for getting up before dawn on a Sunday to join me. I'm just so grateful. And I just want to summarize by saying humankind is awakening. The change is occurring. Thank you for being the explorers, the creators, the teachers, the healers, and the leaders. I love you. Thank you.